Hey guys, so today is Friday the 13th of June, and I have finally managed to go through all of my expenses for the month of May. I do have my trusted laptop here, so I thought, whilst I still have the time, it's 7:45. It doesn't look like it, I know, but before I start work, I thought, let me do my video looking at how much I spent in the month of May. We're going to look at how much I brought in, how much I was projecting, where that money went, and all of that good jazz. So without further ado, let us begin. Okay, so like I said, I do have my trusted laptop here with me. I've got my mobile. I've gone through all of the numbers, and I will be doing screen grabs of my tracker to show you everything that I'll be talking about. So which means I do need to scooch a little bit to this side so that I can have enough space here to put the screen grabs that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So for the month of May, I projected that I'll bring in as a minimum 6,500. So this is from the carryover money that I have from the previous month or from April. And this includes my salary, my savings, or other income that I bring in. So I said 6,500. I ended up bringing in 10,234 and 74 pence. Not every month is like this. Some months are like this and some months are a lot less than this, but this is what we were working with for the month of May 2025. So when it comes to how I budget, I believe in the principle of paying myself first. For me, what that looks like is sending money towards my savings, sending money towards my investment, and paying down debt. That is what I consider paying myself first. With the saving and investing, it's pretty self-explanatory, but for the debt, that aspect for me is reducing debt is also paying myself, because then I'm getting closer to paying that off. And this does not include my mortgages. This is debt that is consumer debt, so credit cards, personal loans, that kind of jazz. So I focus on those first before I even send money to my mortgages. But I came to this after having worked out what my budget looks like. And for me, how I did it is I looked at all my expenses. So first my income, then my expenses, and then I worked out what is left from that. I then started sending towards my pay myself first category, right? So I have always believed that I should send at least 10% of my income towards my investing. At least this is post-tax. Pre-tax were a lot more than that, but post-tax I was just like, let us make sure at least we send 10% of my income. So that's about £600, 650 pounds every single month. If my minimum that I'm expecting is 6,500, then 10% of that is what I'm aiming to send to my investing. Then with savings, I try and do the best that I can. I miss the days when I used to send about 50% of my paycheck towards my saving and my investment, but I do have debt, so that has changed. But yeah, with my saving, I try and at least do a percentage or two of whatever I bring in sent towards my savings, and then my debt get the biggest portion purely because I'm trying to pay those down faster. So with that all being said, let us begin first looking at my savings and my investing, all of that under the umbrella of paying myself first. So I said for my savings that I wasn't going to send anything whatsoever, purely because I was trying to send as much money towards my debt as I possibly can. I did in fact save some money, and I ended up saving about 173 pounds and 27 pence, which is about 2% of my overall income that I brought in. So not bad. Not what I would like, but right now in my current financial standing, this is enough for me. The second bucket in my pay myself first being my investment contribution. So I projected £600 per usual every single month. I was able to send over £700, which is 7% of the total income that I brought in, which is great. So that was for savings and investment. Then when I jumped towards my debt, I was expecting to send 1,350 towards my debt, but I actually only ended up sending 1,000 £326.77, so about £23 less than what I was projecting, but that is 13% of my overall income that I sent to debt. So if I really look at it, I sent about 22% towards paying myself first from that 10,000 plus that I brought in, which is not bad. But obviously the aim is pay off this debt quickly, and then we can start really playing with the numbers. I really do miss having about £2,000 as disposable income. I was even thinking about this yesterday. I was just like, wow, it feels so long ago. 2023 feels so long ago, but alas, here we are. Okay, so with that being done, let us now move to my fixed expenses. So I have broken it down. My trackers have broken it down to home expenses, my subscriptions, health and wellness. That covers all of my fixed expenses. My subscriptions could move, but because I have things like my dental subscription in there, my spa subscription in there, my bank subscription in there, I just keep them under fixed, but otherwise these belong in variable expenses. But that's just how I chose to budget. So for my home expenses, so that is my mortgage, my advanced mortgage, my council tax, my utility bills, all of that good jazz, I projected 2,465. I sent pretty much what I projected, 2,446 and 50 pence. So that was 24% of my overall income that I brought in. So not bad at all. Not bad at all. So here there wasn't really anything too different outside of my my mobile and my internet. So the monies that I pay to Vodafone covers my YouTube premium. It covers my personal mobile, so my line rental, because my device is completely paid off. It covers my internet at home, and then my watch as well is covered under that. My watch, I do have a data plan for my watch, so there are times when I leave my phone at home, but I can still receive calls and messages on my phone when I'm away from my phone. So that's what I pay for. But it was a lot more for the month of May than it was in previous months, but that is okay. And I always try to highlight anything that is different for me more than for you guys. But yeah, so that was the home expenses. When it came to subscriptions, there are a couple of items that are in red. For example, my Netflix went up to $12.99. So I don't even know why I didn't add this, because for some unknown reason I budgeted differently for my Netflix, but my Netflix has been $12.99 for a minute now, so I don't know exactly what went on there. So I think it went up in April, because the last time I paid $10.99 was in March, and then in April I forgot to update my tracker, so I still budgeted £11 because $10.99, and that's when it came out $12.99. I remember they did send me an email, but I'd already done my budget by that time, so I didn't it didn't click immediately to go and check, but alas. But for May, I honestly can't tell you why I did not update this. But anyway, so that's highlighted in red, but it was $12.99. And then I decided to add check my file. So this is a credit score company or something like that, because they have TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So I have been remortgaging my home, so I've remortgaged my home now, and I needed to see what was on my credit report, because I canceled all the other subscriptions that I had, and it just helps to see what these three credit unions in the UK actually have on me. Like, every single company seems to have a different credit score rating, which is crazy, but I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything on any of them that I wasn't aware of. So I decided to add that subscription, and I'll be paying for it every single month. So that's $14.99. So that's in red as well, because when I shared the budget with you guys, it wasn't part of my budget. So that's in red. So initially budgeted $140 for my subscriptions. I ended up paying $152 and 26 pence, but it's still just 1% of my overall income that I brought in. Then with my health and lifestyle, so this is my gym, therapy, my wellness coach, Pilates, yoga, swimming, all of that good jazz. I always budget £450. I spent £421 and 21 pounds and 25 pence. Yeah, so I still had about less than £30 left with this packet, which is not bad. So that was 4% of my overall income. So when I break it down, all of my fixed expenses, I had budgeted about 3,055 pence. I managed to spend 3,020 pounds and 1 pence, which is 30% of my overall income. I think if you've seen the 50/30/20 rule, you know that they say on your living expenses you should be like 50% on your, so on your needs 50%, on your wants 30%, on your savings and debt 20%. So I think we're okay here with my 30% going to my needs, although you could argue that some of these are not really needs, they are wants, but I have mixed them up. But in any case, that's how it is, because the needs themselves do give me also a nice percentage, which I like for me. So that was on the fixed expenses. Now I'm going to move us over to my variable expenses, starting off with home. So for me, in the home bucket, I have my groceries, restaurant takeout, coffee and social, household. I try and spend at least £500 in that category. Sometimes it's a lot, like it was in May, because I bought something and I can't remember what it was, but it cost me £240. Did I buy something? Honestly, I am trying. What was? Oh, no, 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 I didn't buy anything. So my boiler has been playing up, had been playing up, and I wasn't sure what was going on. So I decided just to call an emergency service, because if I didn't have my boiler service, it would invalidate my home insurance. So I was like, oh, let's quickly do that. And I think it was one of the things that I had as my financial goal for May. So I called an emergency company. They came and checked it. There wasn't really anything wrong, but the pressure would just not go up. It was annoying me so much. He was here for like less than 30 minutes and it came £245. I already knew I would have to pay like £100 for call out, but I didn't know like the rest, like the service, how much it was going to cost me. So that shook me because I only budget like £100 every single month for my household. But because of that, I ended up going over by £142 and 41 pence. So yeah, but in everything else, in every other category, so groceries, I was under my 200. Restaurants and takeout, I was under, no, I was over actually. For this one, I was over by £60. I was a social butterfly in May, okay? So let's leave it at that. And then coffee and social, I was under, which is great. But yeah, so I was over by £142, but that was on my home. And then tithe and giving, I budgeted 200 and I was able to give, I'm happy to say, I was able to give 435 and 59 pence, which is 4% of my overall income. My personal spending, so this is self-care. So when I do my nails, when I get my hair done, when I get my eyebrows done, all of that good jazz, I always budget 150, and for May I spent 155 and 91 pence. Trying to figure out why, because my nails cost me 56, my hair was 40, so I don't know what the 59.91 was, but anyway, it's okay. So I went over by just under £6, which is not bad. Local adventures, I paid £11, and I think for this it was a local activity. Yes, we played darts in Oxford, so that was £11 for my portion. Travel, I budgeted 250 and I spent 1,183 and 29 pence. So I will be sharing a vlog soon on the channel. I went to Nice, the south of France. I had the most amazing time on my solo adventure. I didn't even spend as much as I thought I was going to, but what is causing me to have spent this much in May when it comes to travel is because I booked flights for a couple. So flights for next month, flights for June, and then I booked hotel. What else? Yes, I paid for the hotel. Then I paid off the trip me and the girls have coming up in August and in September. And then the spending that I did in, yeah, in Nice. So there you go. Yeah, but this is crazy. So that alone was 12% of my overall income, which is madness, but alas, there we are. So I had budgeted £500 for personal spending. I ended up spending 1,381 and 72 pence. So that was 14% of my overall income. Miscellaneous spending, I'd already budgeted £20. I ended up spending £55 and 9 pence. This is because I decided to sign up to WeTV. I have iQIYI, I have Viki, but the TV drama, the Thai TV drama I wanted to watch was only on WeTV, which was annoying. So I did that subscription for 3 months. I don't know if I'll renew it. If they start adding on nice dramas that I like, maybe, but otherwise I can get all the dramas that I need from YouTube, from iQIYI, and from Viki. So I don't think I need this one, but I caved. Honestly, I caved. So I paid for that. And then for the miscellaneous, I can't really tell you what it was, but a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, it seems. So I spent £55 and 9 pence. That was almost £30 over my budget. And then for fuel, so for transportation bucket, I have fuel, parking tolls, parking and tolls, and public transport. So I budgeted £200 for these three things, and I ended up spending £170 and 47 pence, which is 2% of my overall income. Then I had budgeted to send some money to my sinking funds, but I did not. I mean, the 27 pence that's in the tracker was from, I think, me just trying to move money around, but I didn't really send any money there. So when it comes to variable expenses, overall I budgeted 1,420 and I spent 2,685 and 28 pence. The travel bucket doesn't really help me, but exactly there it is. So that is 26% of my overall income. That's what I spent. Now, if you've done the maths, you know that I didn't spend the entire £10,000. I left 2,324 and 87 pence. So I actually ended up spending 7,909 and 87 pence, which is 77% of my overall income, because I have mentioned this before, and I mentioned in the June budget that I get paid in the middle of the month, but the majority of my bills go out on the first of the month. So to make things work for me in my mind, I always leave money over, obviously, for those bills, right? So I do that, and this is why you see it, even though it's zero-based budgeting, I don't completely eat all the money because my budget timelines are a little bit different. So June was the last month that I was filming a completely calendar month budget. As of next month essentially, but I'm starting this month, I will be budgeting from the 15th of the month to the 14th of the following month. So after I finish filming this, I am going to film my June-July budget. Even though I've already filmed my June budget, I'm going to share with you what my June-July budget actually looks like, and that's what we're going to be talking about in the next video, and that video will go out after this video. Trying to remember my scheduling here, but this is the budgeting. I am not surprised by where the money went. I had an incredibly busy month. I was a very, very social, but also for my travels, I made a lot of spontaneous decisions. In May, when it came to travel, I was booking tickets left, right, and center. I only booked the flight to Riga, Latvia that I went on last week with my friend. I only booked them like 2 weeks prior to that in May, which was great. And then the July trip for my birthday that I have, I also booked it in May. And then I also finished paying off the August September trip in May, and then all the other things that I had to consider or pay for in advance of the upcoming trips. So I'm not too mad about that. I'm not mad at myself for having done that. I'm very actually happy with how everything went. Like I said, I don't often bring in 10K. Sometimes I bring in a lot more than that. Sometimes I bring in less, but it's definitely between, I want to say, 6,500 and 10K. So yeah, so that is my budget. That is where my money went in the month of May. This is what This is the story that my money is telling about me. Let me know in the comments what story your money is telling about you, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, 9% towards savings and investment, 13% towards debt repayment, fixed expenses 30%, variable expenses 26%, sinking funds 0%. Overall, when you add that up, is 77%. So yeah, I am not mad at this at all. At all. So yeah, but that is the budget, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video real soon.